As the world's attention fixated on the South China Sea and the rivalry between Washington and Beijing, a quieter revolution was underway. In Seoul, South Korea made a decision that would reverberate across the global defense industry, exporting advanced tanks and howitzers to NATO countries. This wasn't headline news, but it was a clear signal. A new power had arrived, not with bluster, but with the quiet confidence of a nation transformed. South Korea's rise is no accident. It's the product of decades of planning, hard work, and strategic vision. Once defined by war and aid, South Korea is now an economic engine, a cultural powerhouse, and a military force impossible to ignore. The world still sees the scars of the Korean War and the threat from the North, but that's only part of the story. South Korea has become a linchpin of the global supply chain, a vital security partner, and a cultural phenomenon. Its ascent is no longer silent. South Korea is now a strategic force with its own agenda and vision for the future. Evidence of its influence is everywhere, in your smartphone, in the shows you stream, and in the advanced weaponry adopted by Western allies. This story traces South Korea's transformation from a war-torn nation to an industrial titan. We'll explore its delicate diplomatic dance and ask, what comes next for this new strategic power? The world is finally paying attention. What it sees is a nation ready to claim its place. South Korea's journey is just beginning, and its impact will be felt far beyond Asia. To understand South Korea's present, you must see its past. In 1953, Seoul was rubble, its people devastated, its future bleak. The Korean War had left millions dead or displaced, and the country was dependent on foreign aid. With no resources and little hope, few believed in South Korea's survival. But the so-called miracle on the Han River was no miracle. It was sheer determination. The government launched ambitious 5-year plans, betting everything on export-driven industrialization. Backed by state support, family-run chaebols like Samsung and Hyundai led the charge. Starting with textiles, they moved into steel, shipbuilding, and chemicals. Workers endured long hours and low pay, united by a national purpose. By the 1980s, South Korea had become an industrial powerhouse. Its shipyards built the world's largest vessels. Its steel mills were world-class. Seoul transformed into a modern metropolis. The nation had not just recovered, it had reinvented itself. This economic foundation powered its technological and military rise. From the ashes of war, South Korea emerged as a global titan. The world took notice. The Han River's flow became a symbol of unstoppable progress. South Korea's transformation was complete, but its ambitions were only beginning. The stage was set for a new era. With industry booming, South Korea set its sights on technology. It wasn't enough to assemble products, they had to invent them. Massive investment in R&D, especially in semiconductors, paid off. Samsung and others became global leaders in memory chips, powering the digital world. This innovation fueled economic growth and global influence. Meanwhile, the threat from North Korea drove military modernization. South Korea moved from relying on U.S. arms to building its own advanced tanks, ships, and fighter jets. Today, its military is among the world's most advanced. The K2 Black Panther tank and KF-21 fighter jet are symbols of this transformation. South Korea is now a security provider, not just a protected state. Its strength is built on industry, technology, and necessity. The nation's rise has changed the balance of power in Northeast Asia. South Korea sits in a volatile neighborhood. North Korea to the north, China to the west, Japan to the east, and the U.S. across the Pacific. Its foreign policy is a high-wire act, balancing security and prosperity. The U.S. alliance is the bedrock of its defense, with American troops deterring the North. But this close relationship with Washington often strains ties with Beijing, its top trading partner. The 2017 THAAD missile defense dispute showed the cost of angering China. Economic retaliation was swift. Yet South Korea can't afford to alienate China. given economic interdependence and the North Korean issue. The strategy: security with the US, economy with China, a delicate dance as US-China rivalry grows. Relations with Japan add another layer of complexity. Historical grievances over colonial rule and territorial disputes persist, but shared threats are pushing Seoul and Tokyo closer. Cooperation on security and intelligence is growing, encouraged by Washington. South Korea's diplomacy is defined by this balancing act, managing allies, rivals, and history. It's a constant challenge, but also a source of strength. Navigating these relationships is key to its continued rise. The stakes are high, and every move matters. South Korea's future depends on its ability to walk this tightrope. The world is watching. South Korea's global influence rests on three pillars: semiconductors, pop culture, and defense. Its chipmakers, like Samsung and SK Hynix, dominate the memory market, making South Korea indispensable to the digital world. Any disruption would shake the global economy. The Korean wave, K-pop film and TV, has made the country a cultural superpower, building goodwill and global recognition. This soft power translates into diplomatic influence and demand for Korean products. The third pillar is K-defense. South Korea is now a major arms exporter, offering advanced, affordable weapons. Its willingness to transfer technology makes it an attractive partner. This triple threat, chips, culture, and defense, gives South Korea unique leverage. It's a blend of hard and soft power few nations can match. South Korea's influence now extends far beyond its borders. It's a 21st century power in every sense. South Korea's success brings vulnerabilities. Its export-driven economy is exposed to global shocks. Trade wars, recessions, or disruptions in shipping could be devastating. Heavy reliance on the US for security creates uncertainty if American priorities shift. Internally, a plummeting birth rate and aging population threaten future growth and military strength. Political polarization complicates policymaking, and the North Korean threat is ever present. Nuclear weapons just miles from Seoul. These challenges are the price of power. South Korea's prosperity remains fragile in a volatile world. South Korea isn't standing still. Its ambitions now reach into space and next-gen technology. The successful launch of the Nuri rocket marked its entry into the space age, with plans for Moon and Mars missions. Space capability means strategic independence and new economic opportunities. At home, South Korea is investing heavily in AI, 6G, quantum computing, and biotech. The goal: lead the next technological revolution. Diplomatically, it's seeking a bigger global role, engaging on climate, security, and supply chains. South Korea aims to be a global pivotal state, shaping the world order, not just reacting to it. Its vision is bold and forward-looking. The next chapter is being written now. The division of the Korean Peninsula remains South Korea's defining challenge. The DMZ is a stark reminder of unfinished history. Two worlds, one land. Reunification is a dream, but the economic and social gap is vast. North Korea's nuclear arsenal makes the situation even more complex. Every South Korean leader faces the dilemma. Confrontation risks war. Engagement rarely brings change. The North shapes South Korea's strategy, resources, and alliances. Until this wound is healed or managed, South Korea's rise will always be shadowed by its dangerous neighbor. The peninsula's future remains uncertain. South Korea's journey from war-torn nation to global powerhouse is extraordinary. It's now a pivotal state. Technological, cultural, and military influence radiate from Seoul. But new ambitions bring new risks: demographic decline, great power rivalry, and the unresolved North Korean threat. South Korea stands at a crossroads. Will it transcend its middle power status to become a true major force? Or will geography and geopolitics limit its ascent? The answer isn't clear, but the world is watching. South Korea's next moves will shape not just its own future, but the future of Asia and beyond. The story is far from over.